Hello, Soul Food Coffee House. My name is Andrew Boylan.
Hey.
I'm going to play some songs.
If you don't mind.
Woo! Thanks for the claps, y'all. This song is called To Love a Hypocrite. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hey, la la, lo lo, la lo, hey, la la, lo lo. Alright, now tell me if you want me, 'cause I don't wanna impose. I'm done with playing mind games and analyzing signals. Okay, so read me like a novel, fuck me like I'm taken. Baby, just do what it takes to keep yourself from waiting. 'Cause no, you'll never find somebody new to love you just exactly like before. But you know what to do, so keep it pushing through until it's not a problem anymore. No, alright now. Hey, la la, lo lo, la la lo. Hey, la la, lo lo. Alright, now tell me if you're thinking maybe you can decode the feelings that I'm hiding, even from my own soul. Okay, so take me by the hand, tell me I'm a man. Simple understanding, lost inside the chasm of an adolescent dream. Well, I know better than to waste my time, I'll be dead too soon to make no moves. I know better than to waste my time, I'll be dead too soon to make no moves. I know better than to waste my time, I'll be dead too soon to make no moves. I know better than to waste my time, I'll be dead too soon. Well, no, you'll never find somebody new to love you just exactly like before. But you know what to do, so keep it pushing through until it's not a problem anymore. One more time, oh, you know what to do, so keep it pushing through until it's not a problem anymore. No, alright, now tell me if you want me, 'cause I don't wanna impose. I want you, you. I want you, me, 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 and you, you. I want you. All right now. Thanks. Thanks so much. My name is Andrew Boylan. Came in from San Francisco. Yeah. Excuse me, Kevin. Could I get a little bit of volume on that? Thank you. By now you may have noticed that I am incredibly good looking, and you would be right. This song is called The Reason Why. pushing the paint. I love you, but you want me to wait. A daily trip to the bank. You think that it's fine, but girlfriend, it ain't. No, she's the reason why it's hard to get up in the morning. She's the reason why it's rough to lay down in the evening. Alright now, don't you know, payoff is gonna come soon. Pigment to freshen the room. Pushing that stuff. Applied to cover up the scratch and scuff. Oh, she's the reason why it's hard to get up in the morning. But mostly she's the reason why it's rough to lay down in the evening. Okay. Thanks so much. A little faster for this one, okay. Bring that tempo up to me. Okay. This is a song about sex, but rendered in metaphors to football. Alright, let's do this. Here we go. 1, everybody ready? 2, 3, 4, okay. Standing under field goals, trying to make the rain wash out my soul. Only when you drown can you dodge this crowd. Jealousy in vain, his vanity unchained. He met the girl uptown, he's making all the moves just to get a touchdown. If moderation's close and you're feeling comatose, then jealousy for growth is what you need the most. Break it down now. Put me on the top speed, take me down offensive line, let the pigskin speak. Having found a hole in my plastic skull, busy taking shots I don't need at all. Football. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks. Yo, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, for real, thank you. My name is Andrew Boylan. I'm from San Francisco. Drove up from Ashland today. Out promoting a new CD. It's called Archipelago Island, for sale over there. Only $8. We do take credit card. That's crazy. What a modern age we live in. All right. This next song is called Fire Code Violation because there are too many people in this situation. You know what they say. Three's a crowd. Okay. 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry that your third floor apartment in the city burned down again. But smoking cigarette butts in the corner of an attic's not the best plan. The splintered headboard of your bed, never the same. I really hope your dog escaped the flame. Your crisis has taken its toll. No facade exposed to the snow. Your crisis that's taking its toll. No facade, exposed to the snow. I'm sorry, but I lost what you're coming for. Check your P.O. box, the local post office if you want more. 'Cause word on the street is you have got more than you can push around. So breaking and entering will not help your deprivation now. Your crisis has taken its toll. No facade, exposed to the snow. Your crisis has taken its toll. No facade, exposed to the snow. Break it down now. Sorry, the career choice you made isn't what you want. Put your money where your mouth is and quit the front. 'Cause word on the street is you have got more than you can push around. Until you scream about your fade into the abyss. No one. There's no one there, Ava. Your crisis has taken its toll. No facade, exposed to the snow. Your crisis has taken its toll. No facade, exposed to the snow. Thank you so much. Shouts out all the way in the back. Woo, my love proceeds all the way over there. Thanks so much. Shouts out to the couch from the stage. Oh yeah, so shouting. We can't shout, bro. It's an inside venue, bro. We can't shout, bro. No shouting inside, bro. All right. Well, I used to live in Berkeley, California. I live in San Francisco now. But, of course, Berkeley's a college town, right? So, I don't know, there's some reckless adolescence there, you might say. And the people who lived above me would, like, throw stuff out of their window in front of my door if I played music too loud, which, you know, they were really dumb about it, too. They would just throw, like, hard-boiled eggs. And at that point, you're just wasting food. You're not really, you know, that shit is easy to clean up, and you're just wasting food. And one time they threw batteries, AA batteries, and I was very confused. And so I wrote a song about it, because what you should do when you're confused is write a song. And it's like this. That's how I feel about that.
So confusing. Oh my God.
That's the sound of me beating them up. A 1, a 2, a 1 and 2, a 3 and 4. Must be really running low on space to be doing what you're doing now. Room 303 is throwing batteries off their balcony in front of my apartment door. Ooh. You must have very shaky hands, and you'll never be good at photography. So if you need some juice, need some energy, just hold your hands out in front of my apartment door. Ooh. Ha. must be really out of it. I really hope you are not a babysitter. Room 303 is throwing batteries off their balcony in front of my apartment door. Ooh. Ha! Because I have to clean that shit up, that's why. That ain't fun to clean up. I don't like cleaning up eggs. I don't like cleaning up batteries. If they dead, though. If they live, I'll take them and put them on my remote, which I ain't got. I don't watch TV. I play music. Can I get a hell yeah from the audience?
Hell yeah from the audience.
Whoa, y'all awake? Well, this song's about human volition. That's a thing. Copywriter, oh, he does the headlines for the paper. It's a miracle of modern medicine. Anything ever gets done at all. News is entertainment, and comedy shows are showing news. Only 30 years into retirement, then we can do what we were put on this earth to do. Oh, you're the writer of the world's newspaper syndicate, a real hot shot, well known in many circles. We're all so glad you're here to save us from the ignorance you start today. What do you write? Field reporter, oh, you know he knows where his boots are. When he finds the time to wear them, he'll know just who it is he stepped on. Hands you a postcard he imported from the next man. Try to tell you about what day it is, but he never really can. No, you're the writer of the world's newspaper syndicate, a real hot shot, well known in many circles. We're all so glad you're here to save us from the ignorance you start today. What do you write? 1, 2, 3. This printer always has something that needs to be fixed. She's much too suspicious to find a new way to get kicks. Circumambulation in her blood, it runs deep. By the time she's done walking around it, there won't be any bush left to beat. No, you're the writer of the world's newspaper syndicate, a real hot shot, well known in many circles. We're all so glad you're here to save us from the ignorance you start today. What do you write? Newspaper syndicate. Newspaper syndicate. Song's over. Thank you so much. Excuse me, sir. Is anyone sitting here? Anyone sitting here? Okay. Well then, I need to use this. as y'all know, sometimes you just have to rest your legs. Sometimes you really gotta do that. You know, legs get tired. But other times, you gotta stand up for what you believe in. So I go to art school, and this is a song about a guy with a big ego, so I'm gonna try to get on his level, alright? Alright. Songs. I'll just play it. No matter how hard you smile, you know that shit can take a while. If it's any consolation, I'm always on the move, saying you better figure out yourself first before you try those shoes. You know why it happens that way, but you're too scared to see it that way. You know why it happens that way, but you're too scared to see it that way. Me, jerk. It's your choice and mine to watch, but the future may bear you sour fruit. If it's any consolation, I'm always on the grow. Better figure out yourself first, trying to buy the soul you've sold. It's like that way, but you're too scared to see it that way. You know why it happens that way, but you're too scared to see it that way. Thanks, guys. All right, that's it. No more of me. One more. Oh, okay. All right, if you insist.
I don't, but...
Boy. Well, next up is my very good friend, Boy Blue. I'm going to play one more song, and then he's going to go on. We drove up from San Francisco. Feel free to contribute to our gas fund on the table. We both have beautiful, fresh new CDs for purchase, so feel free to do that. Also, if you have a cassette player, you're in luck. You're not left behind in the past. We have new content for you. This song called Check Out at Noon. Said when you left me, it wasn't fatal. It was a fabric to rest my head upon. And where you left me at, it wasn't dangerous. It was a prostitute to rest my head upon. And all along I was a pesticide for you to burn, while you smile into the reservoir of where we came from. All along I was a pesticide for you to burn, while you smile into the reservoir of where we came from. I've had enough of chasing my dreams. Ooh, give me a crush, let me go free. Yeah, I've done my share, swimming upstream. Ooh, give me a crush, let me go free. I think she knows I'm guilty of the same thing. It's an irrational habit, but sometimes I swear that it's true. Oh, it's unhealthy to wax schizophrenic when mirrors remind you of people that you used to know. Oh, when all along I was a pesticide for you to burn, while you smile into the reservoir of where we came from. All along I was a pesticide for you to burn, while you smile into the reservoir of where we came from. I've had enough of chasing my dreams. Ooh, give me a crush, let me go free. Yeah, I've done my share swimming upstream. Ooh, give me a crush, let me go free. Thanks, guys. I have been Andrew Boylan. Yo, yo, yo! Up next is my man, Boy Blue, right here, speaking them words from coast to
Who's
coast.
my man? You're my man.
That's my man.
That's my man.
Now listen up.
Man to man.
I need you to give it big. I need that big love from my man, Boy Blue. Put them together right now. Boy Blue, here he is. Yo!
That's small love, but it's okay. It ain't nothing but a small town thing.
Let me crash the cymbal for you.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wait.
Keep it going. Oh wow. Yeah! Woo! Keep it up. One more cymbal crash for it. Okay.
Turn it down. Here we go.
I like the sound of that. So I told Kevin here that I wasn't even going to use the mic stand, and I guess I ought to be a man of my word. I thought about it for a second. I did. I considered it, but I'm not even gonna go near that. As I said, I'm gonna stay away from that mic stand. Okay. Hey, so my good friend Andrew Boylan plays every instrument on his recently released album Archipelago Island, and I hear he's learning how to play keyboard. How's the study going? Right. So, like, where are you at with that? Okay, cool. Fuck it. We're going to leave the cover down on that piano then, and you're not going to touch it. But I didn't come here to do stand-up comedy tonight. I came here to recite some very sad poems. That's correct. This first poem is called Pistol Poetry, and I'll just give you a little bit of context. So I guess it's sort of like, it's kind of on why I write. I also, in my study of poetry, came across a term which is pistol poetry, which is a genre of poetry that romanticizes the firearm. And I found this to be rather absurd. Because, like, the beauty of poetry and the darkness and the evil of war and destruction don't really seem to go hand in hand, so I attempted to interpret that for myself. Enough of that, and I'll keep talking at you. This poem is called Pistol Poetry. I woke up this morning, plans to run away from home, scattered across the living room floor. Both oceans bled out from the map's edges into the carpeting, and the interstate led directly to the door. This caged bird is gonna learn to both fly and sing. See, I'm hitting the highway to make good on my dreams, but all the same, I spent last night stuck cityside, staring up at the stars, wondering about the purpose of placement and their arrangement in the first place, but I muddled the murmur the airplanes made with the melody that the heartstrings played. The occasional siren serves as a reminder that nothing is so urgent so as to capsize, and we can sail on with bulbs so bright in our headlights they will dim out the sunshine. If we wish upon lucky charms just hard enough, maybe then we will hear those sirens with no alarm, but open minds, see with open hearts, and feel for all our lives. We will dream so deeply, love so completely. So tell me just, what are we if not loaded guns? See, I'm gonna do what the girl on that cold San Francisco boulevard told me to, and shoot straight from the hip every single time I spit. Pick up that telephone receiver and scream through it. Every single sentiment I just know I believe to be more powerful than the simile that I said it with. With that said, the pistol to my poetry is cocked and loaded. I've got your heartache in my crosshairs for atonement, hoping that when I pull the trigger, it might spark an explosion instantaneous that will penetrate that heart of darkness you've got to illuminate catharsis like the sun. Because each one of us would never be complete without our losses. So I herein offer to bear that burden as a prophet at the price, my dearest brethren. You promise not to give in, and I swear that I will never forfeit. My breathing is eased best by pen ink more than anything. So as long as I write these lines to stay alive alike, my friends and demons, well, I hope it absolutely kills you every single time I read them. Thank you. This chair here on stage is really convenient for the water and for standing on. The two primary things chairs were built for. Right, and butts, yes. Wow, I'm getting the love poems come later. Okay. So, when I was hyping up the release of my my album, which I have here tonight along with zines and t-shirts and other assorted things, which I'll get to later. It's a bit of an exciting story. Really just exciting for me, probably no one else. But when I was hyping that up and spreading the word, sometimes musical artists or recording artists will do something called putting out a single before the album comes out. Have you heard of this? Yeah, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Awesome. Just making sure we're all on the same page here, you know. So the single that I put out for this album was called Self-Titled Self-Help Book. And as a poet who leads a really boring life, you tend to write about writing. And you end up just like having a bunch of poems about poetry, and it's really redundant. But it also, I mean, like, you draw inspiration from your life as an artist, you know? Someone asked me where my inspiration comes from. I was like, man, I wake up in the morning and I just live. I work a 9 to 5, you know? I go to college. I try to be a poet on summer vacation. At any rate, this poem is called Self-Titled Self-Help Book. When the time comes that you open up that hotel bedside table drawer, but what you're looking for just isn't there anymore, and the best you can do is pick up the notepad instead and simply say a prayer. it becomes all too apparent how all the poems you recorded and wrote sum up to little more than a self-titled self-help book. Sleepless sun up? Well, just keep your chin up, son, because at sundown the girl at the show will say she loved your songs. You didn't write them for her, but it's prettier if she thinks so. So you just let her keep thinking it and move on. The truth is, I wrote this for anyone and everyone who can sing along. That said, I did do my best to fashion a life raft from the wreckage so I can rescue myself just as soon as you all are salvaged. So I guess she was right, and I really do define codependence. Whether I say it in irony or in earnest, I am best described by that catharsis, and you could call it staying happy with my sorrow, I guess. But I prefer to think of it as still negotiating the difference between happiness and inspiration in the first place. And while that record I wrote was supposed to be about the road, not staying but going, we can't go forward without losing hope and finding it again. Of course, in the great wide open ocean. So some days I wake, afraid I feel a little too close to an Ahab and lost love, that Leviathan at sea. See, the captain would have been damned to go down without his demons. And as it was for him, the search is haunting me. I've got ghosts to line the walls. For every failure I've attempted, I am spent. Right alongside my last $7.75. But hey, in the end, just call me Ishmael instead, because I am headed to the waterfront in an outcry of repentance. I am signing on with the first vessel that is headed for the promise. You and me, we are going to right these wrongs. And it's going to be the reason I write the songs. I mean, we woke up in the fog and I put it in a poem. We set sail from the bay, bound by a breeze of hope. We hit the interstate at 100, headed north, just to see everything between here and home. Thank you. So the record of poems that I put out is called Between Here and Home. I have it here tonight on cassette tape. For anyone who still listens to cassette tapes, I sure don't, but I took y'all into consideration. If you're more technologically advanced, like this man who brought the iMacs on the road with us for stage decoration, you can just listen to that collection of poems for free on my website, which is maxblue.bandcamp.com. Sometimes people call me Max. I prefer Boy Blue. I like to hide behind my own words, which someone the other day told me was impossible. They said it was easier to hide behind other people's words, but it's a lot easier to hide behind your own words if you make them up. Right. Look away. I also have a very special thing here with me tonight. I found in the car 5 of my old CDs from the last time we went out on the road and played shows, which was about 6 months ago. And those old CDs are also here now. They don't have CD jackets or anything, but they're different poems than the ones that are on the cassette tape. And if you have a CD player, it might be a little easier to listen to them. At any rate, this is one of the older poems off that CD. And it's a love poem. It's about being in love. 'Cause love sucks. It's awesome also at the same time. It's like the best thing, but then when it ends, it's the worst thing. Dude who's training, what's your name, my man? Trevor, you made me an amazing chai, but I need... Right, dude, they're really good. I might have been the one I sipped because I'm vegan, and I accidentally ordered my chai with regular milk, and then I sipped out of it accidentally, and now you might be drinking it. But at any rate, I need one more favor from you, Trevor. I need you to help me start this poem. Because the way I started this poem is with a quote, a passage from a book. And the passage is, "She loved mysteries so much she became one." Okay? And I refuse to start the poem until you repeat that line back at me because I already forgot what it was. And I love mysteries so much that her and we became one. But ever since we've become two, that girl has become too much of a mystery for this one. You know, I thought about it a lot, sitting there outside of my childhood home, car parked in the driveway, outbound for the road. And I came to the conclusion, the fact that I'm still writing poems about her 6 months after the fact. Reading and reciting them 2.5 years after that, well, that's just testimony to the fact that I still don't know how to let go. You know, she loved old noir films out of the 50s so much. She became so obsessed with boiling life down to the white and black. And out of all the old movie stars that she professes to love, Audrey Hepburn will always be the girl that she tries too hard to become. Out of all the old feature films that she professes to love, if you asked her to this day, man, I swear Breakfast at Tiffany's is probably still her favorite one. But we threw all caution to the wind as it carried away her cigarette smoke. And ever since I've been away from home, I figured out it's being away that carried away all my old hope. Well, I only pray that one day I might become as hopeful as some of Fitzgerald's fictional characters, but I think we all let ourselves get a little lost in self-doubt sometimes. Sometimes I figure out I just let myself become so consumed with being down just so I still got something left to write about. I know you know what I'm talking about. So damn, I wish the coming summer would pass past in a dazed haze. Days spent with friends just trying to find the best ways out of town, you know. Last summer, well, 2 summers passed. Now I spent 2 weeks up in Seattle feeling pretty damn down. Oh, and I screamed my instabilities out and away at the Puget Sound. I made a long-distance phone call from a payphone at a gas station saying, "Hey, dearest friend of mine, do you remember that bird's nest, the one I kept all semester?" Well, I left it in the branches of that tree that I broke down underneath 9 nights after you'd met me and you were the only one left to see. Yeah, I left it there to get mixed up with the leaves, and I flew from that nest like a baby bird when its mama first tells it, "Darling, you are free." Thank you. Cool. Whoever whooped. That was sick. That was cool. That shit was live as fuck, dude. I was actually calling my friend on this. Yeah. Right, very new, really spiffy. They have built-in antennas. Nah, one time I did perform with a wireless microphone. Actually, it had an antenna that went right to the PA, and there was no cable. He was there. I played this show with him also. And that was the night that I realized that I don't really know what to do with myself without a mic cable on stage. It's like an indispensable stage prop for me, and I didn't know that until this night that I just had like nothing to choke myself with or play with. Exactly. Freedom is a curse, my friend. And in a similar token to that, the freedom that you feel after a relationship ends can be quite a curse, because sometimes you miss someone more in their absence, if you know what I mean, and you try and like put them back in the place where they're missing. For instance, this poem, well, I'll just share it and I think it'll speak for itself, as it were. It's called Return Address. When the house gets quiet, I can hear you in the silence. The way you always kept your mouth shut to cover up for discontentment. Well, girl, I get it. There is a brand of stability in emotional disconnection. There is routine in repetition, and it becomes easy to repeat it. The same way every poem has already been written, and the bard is just a charlatan rearranging the words to best suit his or her own meaning. But there are only so many ways in which one can phrase depression. At the end of the day, the poet and the mime are relatively the same. They're both pushing as hard as they can against an invisible cage and entertaining an audience too blind to see the absence of the stage in the first place. So I guess this glass box has grown opaque. But she would say that I like it that way. And I would just say, baby, it's like that because that's what life's like, for Christ's sake. I'm sorry that they promised us diamonds and yet kept silent the unfortunate fact that you can only find diamonds in the roughs. They don't tell us just about as much as they false promise, but I guess that's just how societies are best run. Man, fuck formalism. When I write rhymes, I'm going to keep these kicks on so I can run. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a big difference between looking in the wrong places and not looking hard enough. And one of my best friends says that I look too hard too much. I just tell him, man, it's like that because that's what life's like. Yeah, that's just how diamonds are cut. Because acceptance is just as dangerous as it is a prerequisite if it comes on quiet. What I mean is, her eyes were right when they whispered, baby, we're really up against it this time. But with lips shut tight. See, the difference is you couldn't shut me up if you tried. And at the end of the night, the mime is still screaming as best he knows how without the vocal cords to support him. For an audience of deaf ears, and they're blind, like I spill black blood onto blank pages, filling up those empty lines. But hey, that mime found his voice in the mist of a San Francisco midsummer's night. The rain washed the painted pain away, where it was drawn in black liner below the eye, so you couldn't tell if he was laughing or crying. But if you ask me, I could have sworn that kid smiled when he sang. Thank you. Really, this is like indispensable. I would hate to have to lean any further for my water. You know? Back pain is no joke, especially after you drive so far. We've been on the road for the last wow, the days all run together, don't they? We've been on the road for the last 2 or 3 days. We came up from San Francisco, California, playing shows all up and down the coast. One of them is at a place called Soul Food Coffee House in Redmond, Washington. Yep. I can feel the soul. I didn't eat any of the food. I just drank a chai that Trevor made me. Thanks for the chai, Trevor. And thanks for helping me start the poem, Trevor. Woo! All right, so as I alluded to, we came up from San Francisco, California. And as an artist, especially as a poet with the whole beatnik generation thing, I don't know if you folks are aware of this, or you, sir, are not aware of much. But the whole beatnik generation thing that started out in San Francisco certainly made a name for itself there. Is a really inspiring place to live as a spoken word artist. And before I moved out to San Francisco, I wrote a poem about what I hoped and anticipated it to be like. But nothing is ever quite what you expect, so after I moved to San Francisco, I wrote the second half of the poem. The poem is called San Francisco. Very unoriginally titled, but it goes like this. This one's for you, dude from San Francisco. I had high hopes for San Francisco. I had big plans to be a beatnik and sit around skimming through the unemployment ads. I got a little hope left in my front left pocket, and I carry it with me like she carried that locket, packed full of dreams of packing up and out of the East to get away from her mom and pursue the West Coast lifestyle she leads. See, I got plans for myself, the way we've all got plans for ourselves. That's big plans for you and me. Well, each one of these cement blocks in the sidewalk holds untold legacies of little boys just like me. I guess that means two things. One, I am nothing unique. And two, San Francisco must be the city where the hurt go to bleed. I mean, it's all one great big mystery where when the fog line bay, history is made. I wrote that poem about it back in the 10th grade when I was all worry and wonder and empty space. But I have since then discovered that cutting myself off at the roots, well, that is no good base for change. I finally made it out to San Francisco in the cold and gray. Raindrops dripped to kiss my notepad's page. So the ink all ran away, but the poems, well, they stayed the same, and with the only constant ever being change, I finally closed the cover of my woes only to open up again to a clean slate. We are not as blank as fate would have us believe, even if your written story is still incomplete. Those lines were scribed long before our lives conceived. So as long as the highway is my metaphor for the path we take, well then, the bay will represent escape, and in the mist are the mysteries that wait. The Golden Gate falls away into the Pacific Ocean and sinks if you just close your eyes and make believe. Thank you. I'm going to take 2 sips of water this time. That's how you know things are slowing down. When you got to take more sips of water to keep your voice going, you know. But things aren't slowing down. We have 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 more gigs on our way back to San Francisco. Over on our merch table, where Andrew Boylan's CD and my various recordings and zines are available for purchase. We also have a tip jar for our gas fund because we didn't take the train or a plane. We drove. We raced a plane today. We were driving up the interstate. I was pretending to race a plane. He was pretending to be asleep. Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to share for you a poem off my I just recently came out with a compilation of poems. It's called Between Here and Home. But when we were packing up to drive out for this mini tour, I found under one of the seats in the car my old CD, a couple copies of it, from the last time, 6 months ago or so, that we came out and did this same thing. And this is the title track off the old CD, which I would honestly just let go for whatever donation people would like. They're kind of scuffed up and not very nice, and I didn't even know I was going to have them, so they're just a fun, exciting thing. More exciting for me, probably. But anyway, it was called To Weather Storms. And this poem is also called To Weather Storms. Our pasts turn out to be the shaping hand of futures formed to come, at the mercy of the pen and the reverent desire to atone. But we can wash our pain away the way we wash our faces clean at the end of every day, the way we bathed our souls ankles deep in the Shasta Lake and feign that we have never been defaced as if we could ever be the same. I mean, it gets bad, but I guess someone's always had it worse. So I could choose to see the best, for better or for... Well, I guess the point was it always could be a bit more of both, you know. I am sick of gripping with worn down hands at these slipping ropes, so I will saw my anchors loose and sail on towards hope. Because November sometime, not quite a year gone by, I got caught up in becoming a better man, a less purposeless person, and a closer to perfect Buddhist. But I am only human, just trying to find the root of self amongst all of the lives lived slightly less vivid. Seeing that somewhere along the way we must have got a little lost in the mirror image. Somewhere we did stray, for we cannot seem to know innocence. But all along the way there have been things said and done, and they sum to about 7 1/3 journals worth of romantic moments remembered back in pen. I keep them in a locker at the foot of the bed that I rest my head in. And recently I've been reading back and reminiscing, seeing that somewhere in San Francisco, a guardian angel gave me cause again. Somewhere south of there, I wrote alliteration back into my poems. So raise a glass at last and toast. We are not all lost, those who roam. So thanks for the back porch and the rooftop bonds that we forged. And if you're worrying all the way up north, well, just don't. Because we look our whole lives for a place to plant the cornerstone and call it home. For some of us, the casket is the closest we come. But dare not despair, nor come undone, for there are new shores to be seen with the rising of every sun, with possibilities beyond measure, beyond each one. And for every storm that drags us out, another tide will bring us home. And we can walk at the edges of the sea foam, singing freedom songs. Thank you. I still got my lows. My low tones, you know, after you go so long, you blow out your voice, you just have your high, talking like this, you read every poem like this, people take you a whole heck of a lot less seriously. No, I'm just kidding. I have some very good friends who recite their poem in really high octave voices. For the most part, they're girls, though. A good friend of mine who's a girl is featured on my album, Between Here and Home, if you'd be interested to hear that, because I'm not going to impersonate her. That'd be pretty funny, though. Okay, we'll do that later when we're hanging out. It'll be really funny. They wouldn't think it was funny at all. Yeah, come over to the merch table and we'll both impersonate Emily Rose. Okay. Hey, Emily. I'm busted. I'm going to bust this out. One more poem for y'all. Maybe even two. This poem is the last poem on my compilation of spoken word titled Between Here and Home. It's another poem about poetry, like a lot of my poems are. Before you folks got here, I was saying how when you're a poet who leads a boring, normal life, and all you have to write about is your boring, normal life, you have to really romanticize it, and often all you have to write about is poetry. This poem is titled, That Boy's Backbone. Cliche lines and freeway signs function in kind most of the time, serving to remind us of the painfully obvious. I mean, I've fallen in love at first sight. And I really was going 100 up the I-85. And I've left pieces of me in each painting, planted seeds along the way. Those lines similarly survive, testimony to either that ability or inability to let go. So maybe both. But as long as the difference is one that I don't know, well then I'm still writing a longer song and painting that self-portrait Baroque. Well, just recording a couple records and applying the gesso, I suppose. And speaking metaphorically, as if I always was, straightforwardly, if I don't arrive alongside these bottle messages, well then, I guess we'll know what kill the messenger meant. But his words live on forever, for I have read. So some days I wake afraid that I got a little too much Jack in me. See, he was a Bodhisattva Messiah who relied on liquid courage also. Mine is just the ocean and the hope in it. But I hear tell the forefathers of both my family and my poetry were broken men to self-efface for self-pity's sake is in ignorant spite indeed. The type of fight that should have left him resting peacefully left the man in pieces. The poison always in his right hand. And demons danced in the clerestory. It's clear to me he was just looking for a fight so that he'd have an excuse to back out slowly when it finally came his time, because bravery comes in two kinds: the will to go forward or the will to resign. And I'm left behind wondering if bravery ever turns to regret in the time in between the leap and the death. Because this whole life is but one great big leap of faith, and I still see the most hope in a blank page. So even if we don't know where we're going, we're going. And we're gonna make it there alive, complete with missing pieces and everything else we left behind. So join your voice in mine. We're going, and we're gonna make it there alive. I swear we will make it there alive. Thank you. Once again, my name is Max Blue. You can find my recorded work at maxblue.bandcamp.com. Tonight I have been Boy Blue, and I have read 7 poems for you. I'm going to leave you with my final parting words. Something about society and what it means to be an artist for me and for many artists, I believe. This last poem is called Pretty Imperfect. I have learned to let my hair be messy. And while that sounds like a small step, we become so overtly obsessed with looking perfectly pretty. Criticizing our art if it does not abide by rules of 3 that we regularly look past and fail to see the underlying beauty beneath. Self-admittedly, I am both the victim and the perpetrator of broken promises, and quite honestly, if we're being honest, a broken down outlook on honesty, which we have come to call society. Enough wrong and right answers to build up a shaky foundation with, but none left over to answer my questions when I am finally found questioning. I mean, damn and bless them, but our society taught us second guessing. For instance, Name one Disney Channel star our generation did not grow up to end up hating when they were just the role models thrust upon us as if we even needed to know about sex, drugs, or rock and roll at that age. There's plenty of time for that these days, so much for don't grow up so fast! But we've also all been preconditioned with the notion we must cope in order to withstand a life that just leads to death. And that those ends are somehow bad, with no conception of a hope any higher up in heaven than those two towers toppling over back on 9/11. I mean, you and me, we know what a dismal thing it can be to grow up in the shadow of an absence. And the founding fathers are looking a lot more like absent dads. But while that empirical state still stands, don't make fists. Just join hands, brothers, sisters. Criticize no man, save the oppressor, brothers, sisters. We were born out of and into two broken generations, so let's just face it. What have we left but to make no less than the very best of the best of this? The past always shapes the future, but we are standing in the present and yet, rest assured, have been forgiven for our sins long before repenting. Thank you. Once again, I've been Boy Blue. Can I get a round of applause for the Soul Food Coffee House for having us out as well tonight? We appreciate you. I don't know your name, man from San Francisco. Tyler and Trevor, delicious chai, delectable stage. Thank you for having us.